Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca, if we have never had the pleasure of meeting, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about all the houseplant things. Today we are starting a long project. This video will be filmed over several weeks, months, whatever feels appropriate. And today we are going to be starting seeds. Now, I know that anytime a houseplant YouTuber even mentions seeds, people start running for the hills, and I'm not sure why that is. So I hope that you will stick around and learn a little bit more about seed starting with me. So I have before me an arrangement of seeds all the way from garden seeds to houseplant seeds. I actually did find a houseplant seed provider who is legitimate, let's hope. I haven't heard anything negative at all. Their name is Plantflix and they provide houseplant seeds. This is a little bag of Snapdragon seeds. These are string of heart seeds. This is just a mixture of a bunch of different tropical plants. Some philodendron and monstera is in here. I have some parsley, some polka dot plant seeds. We know I don't like polka dot plants, but I am interested to see what the process is to grow them. And then also we have some string of pearl seeds. So I feel like we have a little bit of a unique situation here. Oh, I also forgot to mention this. I got this from my Secret Santa over Christmas, and I figured that it would be a good time to try it out. These are actually vegetables, so we have black corn, purple carrot, yellow cucumber, and Romanesco broccoli, which I love this type of broccoli. It's so good. I'm gonna be using this kit to help me out in a lot of this stuff because I want to use these items in these cells. So we have seed pod starter soil here, which I will, expand probably in one of these pots. These pots are really nice because you could just plant them into the soil. I don't know if I'm gonna be starting anything in one of these. I might though, I might. But for the most part, I am going to be using these cells so that I can have them sit inside of my greenhouse underneath the grow light. So they have like optimal conditions, lots of humidity, lots of warmth. It is like usually 70 to 80 degrees in my greenhouse. We have some instructions from this box, and perhaps it'll offer us some insight. I have retrieved some items that are necessary for this project. So I'm going to need to expand these pellets to create some soil. I read in the book that this is peat moss and cocoa coir, and I'm pretty certain that if I just fill that up with water, it will expand and we will have some soil. While I'm waiting on that, actually, let's make some plant tags. So I have this notebook, and I'm just gonna rip out some pages and use it for my plant tags. The paper is a bit thicker, so hopefully it'll hold up okay. I know that paper is not ideal because if it gets wet, things are gonna go downhill. So we're just gonna be really careful. In addition to the name of the plant, I'm also going to add the date that I am adding them in, which is April 10th. This is stressful. There's a lot of stuff on this desk. Oh, that's really cool. They have an opening at the bottom, so to water them, you just pour water in this tray here. So we have an inner tray and an outer tray, which is a little bit more sturdy. Very cool. So I'm just going to fill these little cells up with soil. So of all of the seeds, I'm most excited for the Monstera deliciosa because, I don't know, I just think that it's really, really awesome to see that plant go through its life cycle. So we're going to check out these seeds. Oh my gosh, they're actually quite big. That is much bigger than I thought. Can you see them? Get an idea of what they look like? I'm not sure if the camera picked that up. I'm going to put one seed per cell and see what happens. I'm pretty sure I just pop them in. I don't think that there's any special thing that I need to do. So this entire row now is Monstera deliciosa, and that is 6 seeds that I'm going to plant. So I'm going to save the rest of these. Maybe if I have extra room, in another part of this, I will add the rest of those. Since I don't have plant tags for like every single cell, I'm probably just going to label them at the top of the cells and then go from there. All right, I have my wonky plant tag and I'm just going to stick this in the front here. So now we're going to look at the philodendron psalm seeds. Oh my gosh, they're tiny and white. I was not expecting that. I was expecting them to be much bigger because the philodendron salum is huge. I think that I'm gonna put 2 seeds per cell. Also, I should say that I'm putting them maybe about 1/2 inch down and then lightly patting the soil above it. I'm definitely not compacting the soil so that the plant would have a hard time coming up. It is very, very loosely packed. All right, so I think that I'm going to turn off the camera because I'm going to just be filling the rest of these cells and putting in seeds, and I will show you guys what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so the seeds have all been added into the cells. I was only able to use this entire cell and then 1 row of this one. I ran out of soil at that point. But I am excited to put these in my greenhouse and see what happens next. I didn't get to, well, let me tell you the ones that I actually have put in here. So I have Monstera deliciosa, philodendron salum, pink polka dot, string of hearts, string of pearls, lemon cucumber, and black corn. So I'm really excited about these, and I will be filming an update when one is relevant. Okay, you guys, so I genuinely did not think that I would be giving an update on these seedlings so early, but it's only been a few days, and look at this. We have the beginning of some really beautiful sprouts. So every single one of the corn and the lemon cucumber have popped up. And then let's take a look over here. Also, at this point, every single one of the pink polka dot has opened up, and then 1 salum has opened up. So no action on the monstera yet, or the string of hearts, or the string of pearls. However, these veggies are just seriously going wild. I'm so excited to see that. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to happen so soon. I think that I already said that, but this is really exciting, and I kind of need to figure out what to do from here. I don't know if I need to pinch off leaves once it grows another set, because I think that these are just the like beginner leaves, and then once another set comes in, I need to do some sort of pinching. It has only been 6 days and we're already seeing this much action. I'm really excited about it. So I will let you guys know what happens next, what my next move is going to be when we talk in the next update. Okay, so I am back with another update on these seedlings. It has been a long time since I have looked into this and worked on this, but as you can see, all of the vegetables, honestly, it was just a lot of work to keep track of them and to keep them watered, and all of them ended up like this, and I'm fine with it. I think I didn't realize how intensive vegetable gardening can be, and then I realized after that I have nowhere to put them. So I kind of just let those seedlings die, but they did all sprout. And since then, I have all of these houseplants that are still doing really well. We do have some thirsty polka dot plants, but what I'm going to do now is pot all of these together outside of these little cells. So I'm going to pot these together. I have some string of hearts that I'm going to pot together. And then I have some of these monsteras, which are doing so good. So all of them came up with the exception of string of pearls and the philodendron salum. None of those came up, which is a little bit disappointing, but you know, what can you do? So I'm going to just pot these up. I'm going to use these pots that I got with one of my seed kits because they're just simple and easy. So let's go ahead and do that. Welcome to the last day of filming for this video. I'm very excited to wrap up the filming and be able to share with you guys everything that I have learned from starting Houseplants from Seeds. It has been a long journey. It's probably been about 4 months since I started filming this video, which is probably my longest project video, but I want to talk about some wins and some losses as far as starting Houseplants from Seed goes. So here are my 2 wins. So this is a Monstera deliciosa. I will bring it up closer so that we can see. So there are 3 babies, or actually 4 babies in here that have made it, and they're doing really, really well. And this one's actually putting out a cute new leaf. It's focused on my face again. Anyway, you can see that it is doing very well, and it looks legit. This is exactly what little baby offshoots look like from my big Monstera deliciosa. And then this is what happened with my string of hearts seedlings. So this is a few different seedling successes. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in here. So that might be all of the ones that I even started. So with that being said, it was successful. As you know, I did start like vegetables and stuff like that, and I just couldn't keep up with it, to be honest with you. Like, houseplants, even as seedlings, are much, much more manageable than any other plant. They are super low maintenance as far as the watering and everything goes, because some people were asking about how I kept up with the watering, like what does that look like for houseplant seeds. I didn't find that they were like super thirsty. I did let them dry out a little bit between waterings, and that was totally fine. There were some seeds that just didn't come up in general, like the philodendron sellum. The polka dot plant did come up, the pink one did come up, but in real life, like, the polka dot plant is not my favorite plant, and I wasn't sad to like let it go. These are the ones that really stuck around because they were tough, and also because I like them. I asked you guys on Instagram if you had any questions about this process, and I got a lot of questions specifically about where to buy houseplant seeds. Definitely err on the side of caution and make sure that wherever you're buying from has like legitimate reviews of real people. I got my seeds from Plantflix, which I want to show you their website so that you can see just like who they are. Obviously this is not sponsored in any way. That's just where I got my seeds, and I really like their company. And okay, I want to show you their blog, because their blog has a post specifically about the topic of like not getting scammed with houseplant seeds, because there are a lot of scams out there, and yeah, they want to target people who like really want an Alba Monstera, and like you cannot buy Alba Monstera seeds. Like, it doesn't exist. Like, a lot of people will get like grass actually thinking that it was the Monstera, which is super sad. So, okay, so they have a blog post about how to not get scammed by houseplant seeds, and I will link all of this stuff down below so that you can access it, because we're not gonna be like reading it with a fine-tooth comb, but they have given us a few points to think about as we decide whether or not a seed seller is reputable. So the first being the price point. So it says here, how credible do you think it is for 100 variegated Monstera seeds to be available for $2? Just for reference, I started out selling 10 Monstera seeds for $9, and I've since had to increase the price recently due to 14 because I'm running out so fast. And those were regular Monstera seeds. So if the price just like doesn't make sense, it's probably not a legitimate deal. Number 2 would be documentation. So are there photos of the seedlings? And if the seedling photos don't look like what the seedling should look like, it's probably not legit either. Next would be testimonials. So do they have real reviews from real people, like I said? And then source. Do they state where they're sourcing the seeds? They may not want to disclose the name of their provider, but they can at least describe like where the seeds are coming from. Those are some like quick things, but there's a lot more to that blog post, and you can definitely check that out in the link down below if you want to read more from Plantflix, which is where I got my seeds. Okay, the next one is, can you start seeds in the winter? So typically it's suggested not to do that, and of course I'm not like a professional seed starter. This is literally my first time doing it. So I started these in the springtime, and that is typically when you start seeds, especially if you're going to bring them outside so that they have time to be like full grown a little bit more before they go out into the conditions. Houseplant seeds, I feel like you could start them in the winter. Like, the seeds don't, like, especially if it's in a grow house or something like that, like the seeds aren't going to be like, actually it's December, we're not going to grow. I don't think that plants really understand that. So as long as they're in the correct conditions, they will sprout. People make it out to be incredibly hard. Is it really that hard? So I'm assuming like, is it really that hard starting plants from seed? And no, it's really not at all. I actually like was overwhelmed at the success because I could not keep up with all the plants that I grew from seed, and I literally am left with like these 2, which is actually like 4 plus 6, which is 10 actual successes out of, I forgot how many I planted, but I mean, it's a lot easier than you think, especially if you just give them the 3 things that they need: water, sun, and heat. That is really all they need, and the heat can come from grow lights or just like the sun in general, whatever is most accessible to you. I put mine in a grow house because I have that, and I figured that would help them germinate faster, which the garden seeds germinated in like a day or two. The houseplant seeds did take a little bit longer, like maybe like a week, but honestly it's not hard. It's not that much different from growing vegetables and stuff like that from seed. Okay, so starting seeds with regular household items, like what household items could you start seeds with? So egg cartons are really great for starting seeds. I used to do that like way early in my plant journey. I like started some flowers and that was really fun, but I started them in egg cartons and I just kept it on my windowsill in the kitchen, and they germinated really fast, and they actually ended up flowering in that same year. Obviously after they came out of the egg cartons. You don't need to get like the big cells that I had. Honestly, that actually felt like a waste, and like they're sitting here and I have nothing to do with them now. I kind of wish that I used an egg carton because I would have already been buying eggs, and I wasn't starting like hundreds of seeds, so I didn't really use even half of the grow tray. Okay, so this is probably like not like the most solid advice, but when I started seeds in the past, I just used regular potting soil. Like I didn't use seed starting potting soil. And really the difference between the two, and this is like very simplified, but seed starting soil does not have nutrients in it. So with seeds, you have to provide that extra nutrients. That is what I used this time around, and it was perfectly fine. But in the past, I have used regular potting soil and like nothing weird happened. So if anyone like has any extra guidance on that in the comments below. My success might have just been totally a fluke, but honestly, I don't really think it matters that much. And then if you want the seedlings to have a lot more humidity, you can always put like a dome over it. You could dome your seedlings or really any plant very, very easily, like just by putting a cup over it or a takeout container or something like that. I have seen people start seeds in sphagnum moss inside of a container, and you could definitely do that with soil in a container, and maybe even cocoa peat in a container. So yeah, there's lots of ways that you can start seedlings just at home. Like you don't even need to go out and buy anything besides the actual seeds. What are your thoughts on heating mats? So I have never had a heating mat before. It's just like, I feel like it's kind of frivolous. I don't really need it because it's so hot where I live. I know that if you use a heat mat with seedlings, it kind of activates them faster. So maybe that would have helped my houseplant seeds sprout faster, but I don't really think that's an added expense that I need to have, or even you need to have, unless you live in a place where that is absolutely necessary for you, and you are probably already aware of that. So if your plants are doing fine without a heat mat, I don't think you need one, especially for seed starting. But I guess if you want to jumpstart things, you could. Up to you, really. Would you ever purchase rare plant seeds, or do you think they're all scams? I don't think they're necessarily all scams. Like, I'm pretty sure that you can buy some legit Anthurium clarinervium seeds, but in general, I think the seed market is like very underground as far as houseplants go. And honestly, I feel like a lot of houseplants are not started from seed because they don't flower that much. I mean, flowering plants are easy to get seeds because you have flowers and that, like the pollen and this and that, and it makes a seed. Very simplified. But houseplants, I just feel like they don't put out seeds that often. Like spider plants will definitely give you seeds, which you can plant. String of hearts will give you seeds, which you can plant. But those are really the only plants, like houseplants, that I have seen like readily put out seeds like super often. Otherwise, you have to pollinate it yourself. I'm in the process of doing that with my Anthurium clarinervium. I just cut off the flower and put it in the freezer because it has pollen on it, and whenever I get another flower, I'll pollinate it when it has like little sap on it, and then hopefully I will get seeds off of that. So I feel like a lot of houseplants grow or multiply due to propagation, so it's not as much seeds. So maybe that's why there isn't as big of a market for it. Okay, so when do you stop watering them every day and keeping the soil always moist? I think, yeah, about 2 weeks after they sprouted, I kind of stopped watering as much, mostly due to just me like not really paying attention to them. I don't really think that was a method that I was using. And they're doing just fine. Like I said earlier, they can stand to dry out a little bit more than the vegetables. So I would say after they sprouted their second leaf, I was a little bit more like, all right, you're on your own. And definitely after I potted them out of the like seed cells, they were left to dry out just a little bit more, like in these pots. All right, so I think that is all for the questions. I think any other question that was asked will probably be answered in the beginning of the video, but I wanted to just quickly repot my Monstera into this beautiful pot, which you have already seen. That's why I have it here. I got kind of carried away with the questions, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, let me know if you want to see more videos like this, like project style videos. I really enjoyed making this video. I think that it's a bit of a journey, and I'm glad that we can all join in on this journey. If you have any additional questions about seed starting or anything within my process, I would be happy to chat with you in the comments down below. But until then, I will see you later. Bye!